Hello. How are you? How are you doing, Dana?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Another Friday and another approaching your future. And this time I'm excited to what we're going to be talking about.
Me too. I'm looking forward to it. So, without further ado, hello everybody. Welcome to Approaching Your Future with your hosts Dana Khan and Victor Ribeiro, where we take steps forward towards your goals. Today we'll be discussing celebrating Black History Month and the Lunar New Year. And it's gonna be a really cool topic, guys, because we are at the start of the month of December of February. Wow, I'm still in
Hmm.
December. It looks like we're at the start of the month of February, guys, and this is a very important month because we celebrate a lot of different things. And the way I would like to describe it is as the month of love, right? Because we
Yeah.
celebrate Valentine's Day, and then we celebrate a lot of love for other cultures, whether it is Black History Month and understanding the implications behind the celebration of Black History Month, or the Lunar New Year, which is celebrated in Asian cultures. I think it's a great moment to take a step back and read about different communities and see what you can find out and see how you can help celebrate and spread that love.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah. That's and I also, Danita, I wanted to add that it's definitely a month of a lot of events. Like you said, there's the Black History Month, there's the Chinese Lunar New Year. There's also the Valentine's Day, right? And keeping in mind that the Black History Month is a date that we have to keep in mind for reflection and other things, which we will be clarifying a little bit more along the podcast. But we're gonna start with the Lunar New Year, which is also really big here in Boston. Um, if you don't live in Boston yet, you should know that we have an amazing Chinatown here, which is near downtown, and that's actually where a lot of these celebrations take place. You know, and the United States itself has an extensive history of immigration, from Africans to um, Asians and people from South America. And as you all know, Central America, of course, this country has had immigrants from all over the world. But when we're talking about the Lunar New Year, it's definitely a remarkable time because you see different cultures, different Asian cultures, kind of like, together to celebrate the Lunar New Year. You see a lot of people wearing red. You see a lot of different forms of celebration, from block parties to special dinners. For example, on February 1st, I was invited by some friends to celebrate the Lunar New Year by going to a hot pot restaurant. And I noticed that a lot other people were dressing red, which means that brings you luck in the new year. Oh, and another thing that's really interesting, Dana, did you know that each lunar year is a different animal, and they don't they take a while to repeat, right? I don't remember which one mine is, but I know that last year was the year of the ox. This year is the year of the tiger.
yes,
So I think there is a chart.
that's really cool. I actually want to see what was the Lunar New Year of 1999.
So it's actually really interesting because, like, I know that my year was the year of the rat.
Mine was the rabbit. Yeah, you were the
You're-
rabbit.
Can you
Mine was
share your screen so we can see the?
yeah, of course. I'm gonna show it right now, guys.
Because
One.
mine is, unfortunately, I cannot share my screen.
So
Cool.
here I looked it up. We can see
Yeah,
here. Actually, if we click
you
here, we
can.
can.
I think there are images, right? Like there's like a if you click on images.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Oh, but we can see all of it here. Pretty cool. So as you see, we have here the way in which the years take place,
Uh huh.
and the tiger. Wow. So
Yep.
the rat repeated itself in 2020
Yep.
from 1996, right?
Yep. Yeah,
And
from 1996.
and then the rabbit also repeated itself here. And then
Yeah.
the tiger had already been in 2010 and it repeated in 2022. It's kind of like almost like 10 years in between. It's interesting.
So the last year was the year of the ox, right? If you go to
Yeah.
2021.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. So each animal has a different meaning, right? So what does the tiger means if you click on the tiger?
Let's go. So the tiger, guys. Tiger is the third sign of the lunar calendar. I am a so I'm gonna read as if it's the first person, guys.
Okay.
I'm a delightful paradox. The entire world is my stage. I set new trails ablaze. I seek the unattainable and try the untried. I dance to life's music in gay abandon. Come with me on my carousel rides. See the myriad of colors, the flickering lights. All hail the unparalleled performer, me. So, what does this mean, guys? This is a
Yeah.
a beautiful poem, truly.
Yeah.
It's really cool because they do it in first person, but kind of like what it's saying is that the tiger is a paradox of life and music and throwing yourself at with fire at whatever life throws at you. And I think that's really beautiful, but it does talk about the carousel rights or like the flickering lights. That means that there's always a down when there's an up, so there's a balance to
Yeah.
how tiger manifests. And then
Definitely.
here it talks about its symbolization, symbolizes power, passion, and daring, a rebellious, colorful, and unpredictable character commanding awe and respect from all quarters, impulsive and vivacious, restless and reckless. I kind of think that it reminds me of me. No, I'm just kidding. Loves being the center of attention. It really does remind me of me. Like, I don't know what to say. Has humanitarian instincts, loves babies, endangered species, whatever the current object of adulation is, everything else will take second place. Wow, it does remind me of me. This is like ADHD diagnosis. But like this part where everything else will take place if you have an object of adulation. It's very interesting the way that they word the symbolization of the tiger. I actually love it. Because it feels raw, you know. It feels like if
Yeah.
it's about both flaws and positive characteristics that come together to create such a fierceless creature,
Yeah.
you know. So
No,
I think it's beautiful.
and you can tell that like by this poem, whoever wrote this is based off observance, right? Is
Right,
definitely someone observing the style, the character of the tiger as
right,
a being that belongs to the, to the wilderness,
right.
and defining its characteristics as a part of a human personality. So it's truly interesting how much poetry, philosophy, how deep the culture goes, and how they find different ways to define these years by animals, and associating it with the people that were born in this year.
How is this not me? Look at this. Female tigers are fashion conscious, articulate and liberated, may have a large ego, but romantic at heart. I swear to God, I identify with a tiger. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Um,
Well, that's your lunar. I mean, your lunar year was the
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 rabbit,
the
actually.
rabbit.
It's this
Oh,
one,
it's
right?
like right under, right?
Yeah. I'm in tune with the pulse of the universe. In my quiet solitude, I hear the melodies of the soul. I float above commonplace descent and decay. I am subdued by my ability to conform. I color my world in delicate pastel hues. Considered very fortunate, serves as a symbol of longevity. It's super interesting. Let me look up yours.
Very interesting. Mine is the rat.
The rat. Well, something interesting for the people that are seeing this, it says on the tiger one that the horse and dog will provide wonderful friendships, but the monkey is not a good fit for you this year in the tiger year. And that is interesting because here we can see, for example, the
Yeah.
monkey um, is a sign of the inventor, improviser, motivator, a charlatan capable of drawing everyone to him with guile and charm.
Yeah.
um, it's
Yeah.
very interesting, you know, because like you can
You
see
can you can kind of imagine a monkey doing such things,
you
right?
can very likable, honest, intelligent, and straightforward. Okay, let's see the rat. Wait, let me find the rat. Rooster, goat, horse, snake,
Snake.
dragon, rabbit, tiger, ox, rat.
Rat is the first one. Ah.
Ooh, charming, innovative, and intelligent. V.
Wow. What is this?
Rat is the first sign of the lunar calendar. I am a self-proclaimed inquisitor, which means that you ask a lot of questions, which is
Uh-huh.
true.
Yeah.
Like you're a curious person. I'm a link, yet I function as a complete unit. I aim at encompassing heights and strike my target, sure and steady. Life is one joyous journey for me. Each search must end with a new quest. I am progress, exploration, and insight. I am the womb of activity.
Wow,
I
this is
like it.
deep. I think it's because it's my year that I feel even more touched by it.
It's I
That's
know,
so interesting.
that's so
So it
interesting.
says charming, innovative, intelligent,
Fourth grade.
forthright, inquisitive, and intrusive, but always in a disarmingly honest way. Excels in business, alert to opportunities, easy to get along with, hardworking, and thrifty. Generous to those you are fond of, can be easily agitated but maintains self control. Gaining many friends, bright, fun loving, social, occasionally critical or grouchy. Wow, female rats may be especially frugal, but usually not with their own children. Overambitious at times. Wow, that's
Mhm.
so interesting. So it's interesting too how the Lunar New Year's they have a form of combination with the signs, right? And how you say if you're born in such month, your personality will have certain traits,
It's like the
and it's
zodiac signs, you mean?
like the zodiac signs exactly. And it's interesting because like the lunar is more of a macro way of looking at it,
Right, right.
right?
And the zodiac is like a micro. You're totally right.
Right. It's so cool. It's so cool. Definitely, Dana, if we can definitely leave this link in the description of our video so people can
100%.
find. But definitely, if you're wondering about what Lunar New Year, what animal you are, go to that website. You definitely find a lot of interesting things. And I honestly, I like to read those things, not just to learn more English or to learn more grammar, but I like learning about different philosophies in poetry. And you can definitely find that there, which is amazing.
That is gorgeous. And I did want to show a bit of picture so that you guys familiarize yourself with the visuals of Chinese New Year and Lunar New Year. It
Mhm.
is kind of used interchangeably. It is celebrated within different Asian cultures, but it's also known as Chinese New Year. So here, if you guys see my screen, you can see a bit of the images. You can see like sometimes there's a dragon. The dragon, as Victor said, there's a lot of red being used. And it really is, as you see, it is in Year of the Tiger this time around. So we're probably going to see a lot of tigers going around. Um,
Mhm.
and the other cool thing to know, guys, is that there's gonna be a parade in Boston, Chinatown, the 13th of February, which is a Sunday. The parade, I think, is gonna run from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be in Chinatown all day. So definitely go take a look. Go celebrate Asian culture. It's a beautiful culture, and I think that you're gonna eat amazingly if you go.
Yeah.
Believe me, that is the truth.
Yeah. I mean, Chinatown, you can find, if you're vegan, if you're plant based, if you just eat normal, like meat or not, dairy, whatever diet you have, you can find your food in Chinatown. I mean it. You really can. And in addition to that, prices, quite affordable. It's a highly competitive area for restaurants. So you find all sorts of price. I usually love going there for bubble tea. Honestly, you can
but
never go wrong.
But if we're honest, there Chinatown tends to be a bit cheaper than other restaurants and other
Yeah.
areas in Boston.
I mean, yeah.
So I think that it's regardless, it's a great option. And
Yeah.
Victor, where do you go to eat hot pot? Which restaurant?
That's a good question because it was actually not in Chinatown. I know that it's Shabu Shabu,
Oh,
the name
Shabu
of the
Sen. Shabu
yeah.
Sen.
No, Shabu Zen is actually in Austin. It's also a great
No,
option
Shabu
for
Sen
hot
is
pot.
in Allston and it's also in Chinatown and
Oh, okay.
in Boston.
Yeah,
Because it's around different places in Boston. It's a delicious place for a hot pot. And there's
yeah.
also another very cool hot pot place in Chinatown called The Little Lamb. And
Mm,
cool place to go. Delicious food. But I honestly recommend Shabu Sen. I think Shabu Sen is the
yeah,
best one.
yeah. Shabu Zen is like a right, like you
It's like a
cannot go
right choice.
wrong.
You cannot
Yeah,
go wrong. It's not overly expensive.
yeah.
It's affordable, delicious food. And also, if you go, apart from trying their bobas, I need to tell you guys, need to try their watermelon juice.
Oh wow, I
Have you
love
tried it?
watermelon.
V,
Never.
it's so good. It's you have to go there and you ask for a watermelon juice, and it's fresh watermelon juice,
Mm.
iced. and it's this big. The cup. It's I would have it all the time when I lived in next to Emerson.
You
I would.
you're saying that right after lunchtime. If I didn't eat, I would be so hungry right now.
No, it's delicious. But yes, definitely recommend it.
So the name of the place that I went is Spring Shabu Shabu. It's actually located in Boston, but more in the Harvard area, not too far, kind of like Cambridge, Boston. Yeah, very nice. What I loved about that place was mostly because they have actual vegan options. They have variations of tofu. They have vegetarian broth, and honestly, it was a great experience. But just to finalize, like Donna said, you will find a lot of options, amazing options in Chinatown. Thai food, Viet food, Chinese food, Japanese food. You will find it all there. Indian food. However, if you're looking for specifics, I would personally recommend Dorchester is great for Viet food. There's a place called Ballet, which I've mentioned before. They have amazing banh mi's and Viet coffee. If you love coffee, go there. Try the Viet coffee. I promise you, you're not going to go wrong. And the further you go in Dorchester and Quincy, you'll find also amazing, affordable local options for Chinese food. A lot of times, very authentic too. So just make sure you get yourself around and you get to see the options and choose whatever speaks to your heart because it's really hard. There are so many options.
I agree. No, I agree. V. But yes, and I think that it's a beautiful celebration, guys. Definitely, try to partake in it. It's a great opportunity to meet new people, meet new cultures, and familiarize yourself with different cultures, especially in Boston, because here we live with a variety of different cultures, and I think that's the beauty of Boston and the beauty of being an approach as well. But
Totally.
the other the other celebration that's really big this month, guys, is Black History Month, right, V? And
Exactly.
it is celebrated all this whole month. And honestly, Black History Month, I mean, Black history should be celebrated every month. It is part of history, it is part of American history, it is part of history of the world, so it should be celebrated with every other history that is celebrated.
Of
But
course.
this is a beautiful month to highlight it, right?
Yeah. It's a beautiful month to reflect, and I think that like every time that we get to this month, we know that we really don't know much. We always find out that we can always learn more. We can always find more insights, different sources to understand more the history of the African American, but not only the African American, right? But it's definitely like a month of consciousness. It's where you actively think and you research and you understand, you know and you support local businesses. Like that's something that we've been doing too, like at least here in my house. Since the beginning of the month, we decided that we're going to try to support more of the local businesses owned by people of color, and those are just a few of the things that you can do you know
That
but
is true.
we can explain a little bit of the history itself. I sent you a link, but
I
it's
did.
interesting that the Black History Month every year has a different theme. And if I'm not wrong, it was a holiday that was established. Did it start in 1915? You can
It did. It started. So I can read a bit of this, if you guys don't
you
mind.
can share your screen if you want, like that. I
Oh,
think that would be cool so people can have a visual representation.
I agree completely. So this is a bit of understanding about Black History Month, guys. So the story of Black History Month begins in 1915, half a century after the 13th Amendment that abolished slavery in the United States. Um, that September, the Harvard-trained historian Carter G. Woodson and the prominent minister Jesse Moreland founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, an organization dedicated to researching and promoting achievements by Black Americans and other peoples of African descent. Known today as the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, the group sponsored a National Negro History Week in 1926, choosing the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. As we know, Abraham Lincoln is the president who abolished slavery.
Yeah.
The event inspired schools and communities nationwide to organize local celebrations, establish history clubs, and host performances and lectures. And so, how you see, that is how Black history is
Yeah,
established, and
yeah,
then it grows into what it is today, right? And
yeah.
as you said, there are different themes for every year, and according
I
to this
think
to their website,
yeah.
it says that this year, we actually they haven't announced
No,
2022.
they did. They did. It's Black Health and Wellness.
Oh, I saw. You're right. You're right.
I think it's on the link that I shared with you here.
No, I saw. I
But
saw.
that
It is
one is
health and
it's
wellness.
interesting, right? How they define different themes as well. And it's always like around February.
And it's very interesting because here, like for the past years, guys, I think I'm guessing that this the Black History Month theme correlates to whatever we're living in society and the world. And as we see here, for example, 2019 it was Black migrations, 2020
Hmm.
was African Americans and the vote, which has to do with 2020
Yeah,
elections. And
yeah,
then 2021 we talked about the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity. And this time around, and this of course in 2021, this comes after all everything that happened with police brutality and Black Lives
yeah,
Matter in 2020.
yeah,
And then this year, as Victor mentioned, we are doing Black Health and Wellness, which is has to do with all the excellence and all the excellent Black doctors and wellness practitioners that are helping during this
yeah.
pandemic.
On the
That's
front
what it
lines. I see that the same way too. And I see that as also a way to remind people about their own health, something that, because it's always like, there's the excellence, there's the people that succeeded and are representing in the front lines. But I also like to see that there are people that needs to take better care of their health, regardless
Mhm.
of where they come from. And I think that's a very important thing too. That's a good reminder of stay awake in terms of health. Don't sleep on it. um
Yeah. And it's as we see here, it also talks a bit more about the Black Health and Wellness theme, which explores the legacy of not only Black scholars and medical practitioners in Western medicine, but also other ways of knowing, like birth
mhm,
workers, doulas, midwives, naturopath, herbalists throughout the African diaspora. The diaspora, sorry. The 2022 theme considers activities, rituals, and initiatives that Black communities have done to be well. So I think it's a beautiful theme because,
yeah,
as we see, I mean, Victor and I, we both come from Latin culture, and Latin culture also has its own forms of healing and its different forms of health and healing practices and health practices. And I think that this theme is beautiful because it talks about all the Black excellence in medicine, but not only medicine, it's everything. As they said, birth workers, doulas, people who work with spiritualism, people who work with other forms of healing, such as coaching,
yeah.
um, which I think is beautiful.
It is, and it's definitely something that has been campaigned and promoted, but you can never get enough of it. I think it's an amazing month to remember those things. But very interesting. And one of the things that you mentioned about like how it's there is a coincidence with the year of the death of Abraham Lincoln.
Hmm.
And it's like Abraham Lincoln was one of the first presidents, one of the first ones that actually advocated right against slavery. But slavery didn't stop there. It was always like a work in progress, and the abolition, right? And he was a person that started that had the power to start a movement, not necessarily start a movement, but bring more attention to a movement that already existed. But definitely it's something that is a fight for many every day, and that's why it's so important that this month we dedicate some time of our own time to research, reflect, become more conscious, and yeah, do your homework. Too much knowledge is not there's no such a thing as too much knowledge, right, Donna?
I agree, V. And as you guys saw, we talked about a bit about Black History Month and the Lunar New Year, which are things that we need to reflect about, beautiful events and celebrations. They're meant to be celebrated, but also celebrated through learning, celebrated through education, celebrated through spreading this information, and familiarizing yourself with these different cultures and how you can support them. And on the
Exactly.
other hand, we have Valentine's Day, which is a day of love. And I think it's going to be a great time for all of us to, in the midst of this pandemic, to stop and think about those we love and how we can show them in this day, whether it is your friendships, your platonic relationships, your romantic relationships, your friendship, your relationship with your parents and your family. I think that it's a moment to stop and say, "Hey, I love you," because we've been living in a pandemic for the past 2 years. So let's celebrate it. Let's celebrate that we're here alive, and that we share this love. Um,
Totally agree.
so that
I
is
totally agree.
my 2 cents, my two corny cents, but
No, 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 definitely. I mean, like, look, a lot of times I think that we see that sometimes people they get caught up in their lives and they forget about these things, and that's why it's so important to sometimes have months that remembers these things, that highlights things like this.
yeah.
Love, equality, diversity, culture. Those are all things that keeps us going, and it's always important to celebrate. It makes us want to live more. At least it makes me want to live more.
Yeah,
So, definitely, I will make your words mine, Donna, at the end. Like saying how we definitely should take time to reflect on what love is in our lives, and tell the people we love them. And I mean, if you have a significant other, if you have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or a wife or a husband, um, you know, make sure to enjoy time with that person too. If you want to do something special in Boston, know that at this time you're probably not going to get a great reservation. I mean, I'm not jinxing, but it's just how hard it is. This time in Boston, Valentine's, it's really hard to get reservations in restaurants.
that is true.
So definitely make sure to plan and maybe find a few options that you might still be able to find.
Exactly, guys. But good luck. We wish you the best, and we'll see you guys next Friday. But let's do the outro as we usually do, guys.
Yep.
Um, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Approaching Your Future with your hosts Dana Khan and Victor Rivero, where we discuss different cultural aspects of life in the United States. We will be back next Friday at 2 p.m. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at approach_USA to keep up with all the latest updates, our live streams, and all the posts that we do every day. And not only that, guys, but please take this weekend to reflect on what we talked about. Reflect on love, reflect on culture, and get your reservations for Valentine's because they will run out.
True. Thank you so much, Dana. It's always a pleasure to be here. And thank you for everyone that's been taking the time to listen to this podcast. Um, we're leaving, but we'll be back next week and have a great weekend. Enjoy and eat delicious food,
Bye,
please.
V. Thank you.
Bye, Danita.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.